Good morning, viewers. Aji amian moi tuan ge sop Nagaland TV like a first show, that is the Good Morning Show. They welcome Korea. Say Ami Johanna Muri, and I'm delighted to welcome you all to the Good Morning episode of Nagaland TV. Amian Nitya, to start with our day, we will first have a look at a passage from the Bible.
For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7.
Such a beautiful Bible verse. Mohan Christian Juanimite Mohan la day Bible purina start huile ekta positive ekta ahe. To itu Bible verse sai loise to ami hanitia think positive mohan la din dia jikali bishi bia hui dage newspaper de sai libi itu war hui ase itu hui ase ki bia huni dage tu nimite mohan ekta thought of the day, positive thought of the day sai lobo.
If the wind will not serve, take to the oars. Latin proverb.
Pishi power positive thought of the day ta huni loise. I hope it brighten up your day like it did to mine. To ida mohan top headlines agila sai lobo. Over 59 years since the statehood as Pang Nang Konyak has become the first second woman elected to either House of Parliament or State Assembly. The Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority Home Department, in coordination with Regional Meteorological Center Guwahati, issues weather reporting for the coming days. China's Foreign Ministry Wang Yi has reached Delhi for the first high-level Chinese visit to India in more than 2 years since the standoff in the Ladakh started. Sources said Wang Yi is expected to meet Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval on Friday. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said in the Rajya Sabha on Thursday that India's state-free and consistent Ukraine policy in its own national interest, and that it's based on 6 principles. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee on Tuesday visited Birbhum District Boktu village, where 8 persons were charged to death after their houses were set on fire following the murder of Deputy Village Pradhan, and met with victims' families. Itya mohan newspaper mohan Nagaland TV de mohan newspaper de ki ahina se itu sai mohan 2 newspapers, that is Morong Express aru Eastern Mirror dewa sai to mohan sob janagically time na pai mohan busy thage duane moi ini front page headlines an ki ahina se itu han all of to han get samjai dibo. First mohan Eastern Mirror dewa sai lobo aru itya Eastern Mirror de top headlines de ahina se state will be in power surplus for 5 years. Surplus ko the bishi itu Rio mohan la Chief Minister Rio kwala statement ase to mohan itya sai lobo tai kuishe Chief Minister Nifrio on Thursday said in his concluding remark on the last day of the 11th session of 13th NLA that Nagaland would be able to meet its energy requirements within 5 years. To Nagaland mohan janiye se the budget session chuli ase mohan la Nagaland la NLA the 13th Legislative Assembly 11th session laga aru kali final day tagi she to mohan la Chief Minister Nifrio ba kuishe Nagaland te itya energy requirements 5 sal in coming 5 years itya bal hobo gushe mohan sob janiye ja Nagaland te we know power electricity la to kiman problems hui thake, especially rural areas te aru electricity to ina problems hui thake do state mohan light bill han bi phal banai deni gi Nagaland to itu nimite bi ase. So yade kui thake do 11th session de tai kwa to energy able to meet energy requirements within 5 years itu 5 sal de age ahi thake 5 sal de mohan energy requirements ki lage itu yade 5 years to cover hobo kushe. Second paragraph de likhina ase while maintaining that the state spends about 237 crore per year in purchasing power, he expressed hope of improvement of the situation in further citing that improvements of about rupees 300 crore in revenue. He said that the power department is also aggressively keeping a check on the revenue loss due to theft and implanting prepaid electricity metering system. तो इतिया यदि कोई ऐसी कि तो Nagaland state तो 237 crore per year every year Nagaland te 237 crore chule wishe itu electricity faneba aru tai itu kina light chola se itu improve awole tai hope kuri ase kushe aru itu 33 crore do revenue deba generate hua se kushe. He said power department han be aggressively keeping a check. Power department han be itia itu power department ba light kina chule se itu han phal ba check kuri ase aru itu kunba do ina thege na theft and implanting prepaid itu light bill han natirai na extra meter ki halina chola labi thage to han be power department han check rakhe ase mon last year wa shuru hoge na power department han kun light bill natirai na thege she itu han ghor to ghor jaina light han be cut kore degi she to itu han la opor de bi koi degi she to yede itu paper de. So Rio State said that the state could produce hydropower projects with a calculating of 32.1.8 megawatt power in 3 to 5 years time, adding that the state will be self-sufficient and have power surplus of 100 megawatts by then. So yade kui thake do Nagaland to hydropower project, that is hydropower project ko do pani laga power project olawole ase aru itu do 321.8 megawatts power la generate hobole ase ahi daga 5 years te and then itu generate hoile Nagaland la power iman diktari na pawo kishi itu light fane wado. So fund utilization yade kina itu power department ba kina fund chuli ase itu han sops olop sailobo. The Chief Minister urged government officials to judiciously utilize funds, saying that 5.87% of the state budget for the fiscal year 2022 to 23 has been allotted for development expenditures and activities. One state te hota every year fund ahe to today 5.87% is for development nimite 5.87% pai to itu sub departments hange judiciously mane itu balba cholabi gushe department hange itu mohan kina expenditure what keep a check on the expenditures and then itu mohan development ki kuribole se itu judiciously kurina cholaigena mohan itu inya kurile developments ahibo paribo. On Chief Minister microfinancing scheme, he said it will boost young entrepreneurs, farmers, while the cabinet would discuss the universal health insurance for all citizens of the state and express hope of implementing this September. He also clarified that the state government is codifying but mentioning complementing customary laws considering similarities and differences among various tribes that can be printed out in the paper. So yeah, the Chief Minister kwase microfinancing scheme, he said, will boost young entrepreneurs. Microfinancing schemes hando chutumutu mon microfinancing schemes thage aru apnian jani thage bo itu surface act koina which was implemented in the year 2002 itu do bank han ba mohan ge loan de aru itu loan diadam de mohan mortgage rakhe saman han, for example like tohan la land rakhibo paribo tohan la ghor rakhibo paribo and then when you cannot pay back the bank, that is loan of deficit ko itu loan of deposit itu kuro na parile itu bank bra mohan risk rakhina thaya itu mohan mortgage de rakhina thaya itu bikai de but Nagaland te itu all of itu surface act to all of palba naturally nazi because Nagaland to mohan jani ase itu article 371 itu ase aru palba itu nimite mohan matihan pikri ko na pare itu nimite all of kiba chamela jai ase but itu Chief Minister ba koise ki itu microfinancing act insurance han sob itu by September this year ba to chuli bole try kuro because itu loan dina mohan young entrepreneurs noile mohan business han boost kore parle to do bhala se. So now we will move on to the next paragraph. Yadi likhina ase clarifies the state government is not codifying but documenting the compiling customary laws. Itu moi kwanishna customary laws precious in Nagaland te so Nagaland Chief Minister is saying that they will discuss and codify document itu sub tribe logo de kotha kuigena tahan lak on customary laws kiki law ase itu palba kotha kuigena they will be printing out ekta kiba banawo kushi document ekta banawo kushi print kurina sob tribes lo deba consent han luigina itu local dialect mohanla local dialect deba banai gina banawo gina janaishe aru itu forest management labi likhina se Rio informed that under Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA forest management in 91 villages had already been covered out of 185 villages across the state. Itu Monla Nagaland under Japan International Cooperation Agency, that is JICA, forest management in 91 village, 91 busti the forest management already cover huishe aru itya 185 village already cover huishe gushe. He also highlighted that under the KfW Development Bank's German scheme, 70 villages will be taken up in the state and implemented phase-wise. German technology ektala KfW goigina German technology scheme de 70 village Nagaland ba 70 village chunigena itu implement kuribo kushe. Tuli paper mill. With regard to the Nagaland Pulp and Paper Company Limited at Tuli, he said it had failed due to poor management by Hindustan Paper Corporation Limited (HCPL), leaving a huge impact on the employees and the state as a partner. To yere Tuli Paper Company, to Nagaland Pulp and Paper Company LPPCL Tuli lagato itu fail huishe gushe because it had a poor management legishe kiki institution hobi kiki organization hobi poor management hoile itu to fail hobole ase. So mon yadi jani pai ase ki itu Tuli paper mill bi management to Hindustan Paper Corporation Limited HPCL para kurishe to itu leaving a huge impact on the employees. Itu fail hua huigena employees hanlo de bishi effect huishe because mohan for example if you lose a job tohan bi you will have to stay home and then tohan la life effect hui jai because job is like your daily bread earning tohan la job mohan la job dewa hi mohan puisa paigena mohan la family aru mohan nijor la independent hui aru mohan nijor mohan la what kiki thagilibi we have to take care of ourselves, but yeah, the company ekta shutdown hui jado bishi effect hui she employees ange bishi. So now he asserted that the state should pursue winding it up on time, and it should decide whether to discuss with HPCL to have a deadline to terminate or go to the court for settlement. To itu yadewa kwa hisab to itu do itya court case bi chuli bole ase. So he asserted the state should pursue winding it up on time. Itu moi kwanishna yede Nagaland to itula partnership de thagishe. So to discuss with the HPCL to have a deadline to terminate on it to go for court settlement. Itu terminate kuribole decide kurile say whether to terminate it or to go for a court settlement. So now we will move on to the next paragraph. It says, I don't think we should share the burden because it is not our fault, he said, adding that the unpaid salary is about 27 crore. To HPCL bra Nagaland ke ityatak 27 crore nishna unpaid salary dina se kushe. So pointing out the drought-like situation last year, he maintained that help was sought for buying rice to be distributed in the affected areas. He said Agriculture Department was told that the government could extend necessary help to the people, be it seeds or be given support as a better harvest this year. To itu rubber plantation Korea paper loa hando 27 crore nishna tibule asi kushe. To itu last year tahan bra Agriculture Department lo miligena affected khan manukhan ge rice seeds aru kiki support nimide dishe gushe aru itu housing la de jabo itia mohan. With regard to the housing for all issue in Chozoba by the local MLA, the Chief Minister informed that there was a problem in validating of IFSC code in Nagaland State Cooperative Bank at the location. He said that issue has been resolved in selecting been clarifies would see it soon. Expressing concern over the unbanked blocks in the state, Rio said that possible arrangements are being taken up so that people will not be deprived of banking facilities. Due to housing, regarding to housing of all issues in Chozoba, local MLA by the local MLA, the Chief Minister informed that itu Chozoba laga Nagaland Cooperative Bank te IFSC code laga chamela chuli degishi ushe. So he said it has been resolved. Itya to resolve ushe and select beneficiaries would receive it soon. Itu kun housing loan laga apply kuna se to selected beneficiaries. Itu kun ke select ushe itu hando tahan Paijawa Kusheb sooner or later. So expressing concern over the unbanked blocks in the state, Rio said its possible arrangements are taken care of. Moikwanishna, it has been taken care of, and then kun itu the housing loan la apply kuna say to be Paijawa Kusheb. High Court, with regard to the ongoing High Court building construction, he said that he will put for hold for a long time because of the CBI case. Long time, but the contractors will be allowed to work. He also informed that the Nagaland government will be funding for a proposal that has been forwarded in the ministry. To itya mohan next jawo, that is Committee on Naga issue to meet Amit Shah. Itu do TR Zileng bakwala se Nagaland NPF Legislature Party and the UDA chairman TR Zileng on Thursday said that the core committee on Nagaland political issue plans to meet with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Itu Union Home Minister Amit Shah ge lok paule se itu mon la Naga solution laga kotha ko bole. There will be followed by a meeting by the Indo political groups. Itu last week ekta Republic Day thegishe NSCN han laga to itu tate pikuishe Delhi de chai thake aba to iku solution na thagibo. You have to speak with the people, you have to communicate with the people ko ase. But again yede likhina ase ki plans. Then UDA chairman TR Zileng on Thursday said core committee han Nagaland political issues nimite Union Home Minister Amit Shah ge lok paule se kushe. Or this will be followed itu pishide meeting thagewo Indo Naga political groups to hammer out settlements between the differences. Otherwise dreadlocks between GOI and NSC and IM will continue. NSC and IM are Government of India la bhitore bhalba smooth wana jaya se to nimite itu yade likhina se ki participation in a general discussion itu after the meeting there will be another meeting held between the GOI, that is the Government of India, and the NSC and IM. So and then he went on to clarify meeting with the central leaders would not for any developmental package or any purpose, but to know Government of India's position in the issue that can be amicably settled. To itu log pawale thagya do it is to clarify Korea ki it is not for central leaders with we're not there for development package. Iku development package no wile iku profits nimite kotha ko len no hoy, but they are going to speak about the Government of India's stand. Itu Naga solution lagaw por the Government of India laga stand no wile tahan la ki ko wile se what they have to say on the issue itu jani bole tahan meeting kuri bole se. He further clarified that the coming together of the 60 Nagaland MLAs was the request of the 7 NNPGs and the NSC and IM. To yete mohan samjani ase Nagaland to itia opposition-less government ya se, that is a UDA government. Itia party han sob miligena ekta huigena se to itu tahan iniga UDA government form Korea to it was tahan Korea to they were requested by the it says that they were requested by the NNPGs and the IM. 7 NNPGs and NSC and IM request ko nimite tahan itu UDA government form kushe. And the UDA government, the reason for forming the UDA government was to bring early solution to the Naga people. You know, we all have been Naga Manuhan to stop. We have been waiting for the solution, but meetings and so many things have been happening, but solution do ityatak ahyan itu nimite tahan UDA government form kurishe for early solution. He further clarified that coming together of the 60 MLAs, okay, I've read that, now having two agreements, framework and agreed positions on one issue where controversy started and creating a parallel tank in an issue, he said, adding to it work of the then interlocutor RN Ravi thagyaramde ekta controversy nole chamela ulai shugushe that is on the framework agreement and agreed positions. Itu pula tan separate flag or separate constitution mang kure tam de olop chamela olai she tu mona interlocutor aran ravi thayadam de lai tu law por kotha ko ase tu. And with regard to the consultative meeting held on October 31 2019 where talks were supposed to be concluded successfully, Ziliang said that Ravi and NSCNM on a mutual understanding agreed that they would revisit the agreement clause by clause. To itu 31st October 2019 de tahan meeting thagishe gushe. So tade talks to sub conclude ho thagishe successfully. It was supposed to be concluded successfully, but Ziliang said that Ravi and the NSC and IM on a mutual understanding tahan ekta understanding kurishe that they will agree to revise the agreement. Itu agreement de ki likhina je they were supposed to revise the agreement clause by clause. However, mohan nire tiki paishi tu do hua nai. So why itu mohan chanibo? However, Ravi rightly rejected the NSC and IM's demand for separate flag and constitution. Moi agede kwanishna itu. Ravi bra reject kuishe. NSC and IM asked for a separate flag and a constitution, but saying it is the issues are outside of preview of agreement. Kuishe itu issue do it is outside of the agreement. Itu agreement la pitore no hoeguna. Mohan la puila la interlocutor Aaron Ravi bra itu do oppose kurishe. So, thus creating a dreadlock itu ba chamela olai thagishe kushe moya gede. So Ziliang went on to say that 7 NNPGs are ready, but NSC and IM and government could not arrive in an understanding. So Ziliang ba kushe that 7 NNPGs tahan do ready huishe hulibi Naga NSC and IM or government of India tahan ekta understanding de ahyana ekushe. If NSC and IM does not agree, SB felicitators should pursue until they agree. Tahan NSC and IM NSC and bra agree na hua tak tahan pursue kurbo kushe. Meanwhile, he also informed the GOI's new representative AK Mishra is yet to come back to Nagaland after his meeting with the NNPGs last year. To mohan la nutun interlocutor ahi jaise Nagaland jai, and he is known as AK Mishra. So meanwhile he informed that government of India representative AK Mishra is yet to come back to Nagaland. Tai jadak Nagaland te wapas ahianai last year NNPG laga meeting lua pichete. So now we will move on to the next story, that is journalist assault case, probe still on NAB culprit. Okay, journalist Menuse Okiye, who is associated with Eastern Mirror, was a correspondent in Kohima, was physically assaulted earlier this month by unidentified person when he was returning home from work. To yede kuye se ekta journalist Menuse Okiye kuigenam. Taido, he is associated with Eastern Mirror. Tai mohan itya puri thaga Eastern Mirror laga staff ase aru taige physically assault kurishe, taige mara mari kurishe. Earlier this month, that is itu month te first week fani hobo initial lage simoy. Aru itu tai kun taige assault kurishe itu do najane, because here it is written that he was assaulted by an unidentified person when he was returning home from work. Tai kam jaina gora hyadam de taige assault hushe. This incident occurred around 11:30 p.m. to 12 p.m. itu do Rati 11:30 to 12 p.m. nishnati hushe gushe itu hatsa do. Aru itu do March 5. Yes, like I've said, first week te hushe between Duckland and New Market in Kohima. Duckland colony aru New Market colony laga majote regishe itu incident do. Kia, who is recovering from injuries inflicted during the assault, stated he saw around 5 to 4 persons scuffling in the middle of the road while returning home, so he intervened to stop them, after which they dispersed. Totai ahyadam de to Duckland or Duckland to New Market la Rasta Fani ahyadam de. He saw that there was something going on. Maybe they were they were in a fight or something, conflict ekta thagishe. So he went to intervene. Tai jaishe mamla ge sulja wole. As it is written here. However, after about 5 minutes, he was attacked from behind, leaving him unconscious with injuries on the face. So yede disperse hui jaise huilibi. Tai disperse hui ja piche deba hina kunba taige ekta ahina marishe gushe. So taige piche deba marishe aru tai unconscious hui jaise, because maybe he was not prepared. Kitiaba piche deba attack koi mohan bi prepared na thake, so he was not prepared maybe, aru tu nimite tai piche deba attack hua to tai unconscious hui jaise. So he said that the incident was brought to the knowledge to New Market area Panchayat 3 days after the incident, and his family was forced on nursing him back to health, and he was not in the right disposition to file a report about the incident. To itula hat sala opode tai New Market area laka Panchayat han ke be 3 din piche de kushe, because tai Odu time de do, like he said, he was unconscious or hospital detection pare, so he was not in the right state to file a complaint. So he was also robbed. He was also robbed of his mobile phone, 2 ATM cards and Aadhaar card. Tala phone bi lui dishe, tala 2 ATM cards lui dishe, aro Aadhaar card bi lui dishe. Chairman of New Market Area Panchayat Rukobizo Newso informed the newspaper that the case was brought to the notice late, but investigation was on the neck of the culprit. To itula oporde chairman babi kota kuiluche kushe. So now we will move on to Morong Express. Mon Eastern Mirror to front page sailushe to monikia Morong Express te ki likhina se sailobo. To yede likhina se headlines te Pangnong Konyak elected unopposed as first Nagaland first woman RS MP. To ito do bishi khushi la ekta kotha ase because this is the first time Rajya Sabha de maiki ekta khara kurle ase from Nagaland. So a very congratulations to Pangnong Konyak. So yade likhina ase over 59 years since the statehood, as Pangnong Konyak has become the first woman from Nagaland to be elected on the House of Parliament from the State Assembly. As Pangnong Konyak, sponsored by the Bharatiya Janata Party, has been declared duly elected uncontested to fill the seat in the Council of State Rajya Sabha from Nagaland State to term which is due to expire on 2nd April 2022. Stated a press release from V. Shanki Shekhar, Chief Electoral Office of Nagaland. Pangnong was declared duly elected uncontested by returning officer Krulotunyo Rio, Additional Secretary of Nagaland Legislative Assembly NLA, after the first hour within withdrawal of candidates on March 24. तो मोहन क्वानिस ना ये UDA government form हिना से so Nagaland han सब मिलाई गना इतु अलग NPF ला candidates भी था गना और Pangnong Konyak tadu ekta she is the Congress Mahila Morcha president aru taige BJP bra milai gena taige first Nagaland taige unopposed kuri gena Rajya Sabha de pathawale ase. So moi taige sa tade kui deishe that she I heard her interviews and taiko kuishegi she will work for women empowerment, which is very nice because you know we live in a very patriarchal society, Nagaland, and maybe this Pangnong Konyak, after she goes to the Rajya Sabha, she said that she will address the Nagas issues and everything. So maybe that will bridge a gap between the inequalities between men and women. And because, like I said, we live in a patriarchal society where women are not given as equal rights compared to men. So maybe after her term in Rajya Sabha, maybe we will see a little different side of the story from Nagaland. So we will read the next paragraph, that is women legislator in assembly as specific priority in says Pangnong. Mohan itula hi puriwo time bi man bishinai mohalam bulletin bi ahiase, so we will just read this one and then we will move on. To yede Tadili that bestowed a great opportunity and platform, and she would use the same responsibility to highlight issues pertaining the state like kiki issue ase taita de Rajya Sabha de lui jabo kushe, and she will try to bring solutions to the state specifically on women empowerment. Like I said, that women empowerment lo de bishe focus kuribole ase, and that is the utmost priority kushe tala priority ase. And we would like to work towards putting women representatives in the state. Like kushe women representative state la women representative ani bole koshish kuribo kushe. Aro taito Holy Cross para purishe Dimapur de, and she completed her masters in arts in English, the English masters English de luishe or tai Dollar Drum College under University 2002 de complete wishe. To mohan paper print preview ya dewa khotom hole se aru itya mohan fact of the day jani lobo.
First railway passenger service began in England on March 25, 1807.
passenger service aji shuru hoise guse to itu bishi bala se history de ki hoise mohan itia repeat kori dise fact of the day de to itia mola favorite segment of the day, that is morning melody, mohan gana ekta huni lobo to refresh and to energize ourselves.
You got me like 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 you got me like.
Such a beautiful morning melody. So the Good Morning Show has come to an end, and I hope you have learned something from the show. Before we do the closing, before we move on, we will please have a look at the weather report, and I hope you have a nice day. Keep smiling.